Welcome to Pace of Ownership Podcast. My name is Don Jalbert, and today on Pace of Ownership Podcast, we're talking about obstacles. Now, before we get started about obstacles, my name again is Don Jalbert. You can reach me at don@paceofownership.com. Google me, you'll find me wherever you're at. And at paceofownership.com, we talk about the ownership mentality and what it takes to become an owner. And when you have that idea that, hey, I want to do something more, whether it's start a side hustle or start your own company, or just write the business plan for a company, as soon as you open your mouth and have an idea, someone's going to say you can't do that. It's human nature. They want to protect you. It's a risk. Starting your own company is a risk. Doing something on the side is a risk. Everything you do is a risk. Driving to work is a risk. Those are obstacles. And how you respond to them is important. And I'm going to talk about obstacles before Afghanistan, obstacles in Afghanistan, and obstacles in the business world. So the center of the whole thing is the blog post in Afghanistan called Major Powers. Man, he did not want me to succeed. He did not want my program to succeed, and he put a lot of obstacles in our way. So we figured out how to get around those obstacles. And every time we did, he had the power to put another roadblock up. He got tired of dealing with me, I'll tell you that. He was probably the happiest person when I left Afghanistan. And first of all, I would go meet my customers at their place of business in Kabul. So I would drive to their place. So I have an up armored vehicle and I drive to their place. And then I would meet with them, get their requirements, bring it back to the team. We'd come up with a requirements document, give it to the customer. They say, yeah, go back to the government and say, hey, the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers wants this. And they would sign off on it and say, yeah, go ahead and do that because it would cost money. So we get approval and then we'd go off and do great things. Well, that was the first government handler I had. The second one didn't approve anything. Did not approve anything, did not want me to succeed. He said, you can't travel anymore, it's too dangerous. Okay. So I had people come to my office and he goes, no, that's too much risk. We don't want people coming to your office, it's too much risk. So then we started having phone calls. Nope, can't have a phone call because you might discuss classified information. And we don't want that on open lines because we were using Skype all the time. So everything we tried to do and we responded to it, trust me, we reacted to, which I'll get into those two things again. But in Afghanistan, Major Powers was my number one obstacle. There were a lot of little things we got around and we dealt with and we responded to. And you'll get those no matter what. But sometimes you get a big obstacle and what you do then, it will determine your success. So let's talk about react versus respond when it comes to an obstacle. So let's say you go to the doctor's office, you have an issue, he gives you a prescription. A week later, you go in, he says one of two things. Your body's reacting to the medicine. Doesn't sound all that good. Your body's responding to the medicine. You might say, yeah, that's pretty good. So anyway, react, respond, always respond, which means take the information in, do not speak, think about it, think about what the other person is telling you, why they are telling you, and then respond. When the person said, I cannot travel, we were like, okay, we will not travel. We didn't say what we were going to do, and then we started having people come to our office. We didn't tell anybody we were going to do that because we didn't think we needed permission. Well, when he found that out, he put the block in the way and said they can't travel, it's not safe, and he doesn't want that responsibility. So how do you react? How do you respond when an obstacle shows up? So in Afghanistan, I had Major Powers, and boy, he was a pain in the ass. But let me go back to when I was in the Air Force, and I had that moment where I said, where it just flipped, and I started having ownership mentality. That was actually really cool. And you know what? As I started shedding my old bad habits, and I wasn't stopping bad habits, I was adding better habits. So when I woke up early and went to the gym, and then went to the gym again in lunchtime, I was cutting out bad food because I didn't have time to eat bad food. When I was going to night school and in continuing my education, that meant I wasn't out causing trouble. So I wasn't stopping anything, I was starting things. Well, the people I was running around with and being stupid with, they started noticing I wasn't running around being stupid with anymore. I said, well, I got class to do. I didn't make any excuses. I didn't say, oh, I'm sorry, I got class to go to. I said, oh, I'm tired. I worked out this morning. I'm this, I'm that. And I never said no. I just said, hey, I'm doing something different. But they were my obstacles because I was going down a path and it wasn't negative. It just wasn't all that positive. There wasn't. I mean, we weren't doing drugs. We weren't robbing people. We were just doing stupid stuff and not growing as individuals. So when I had that epiphany, and I was over here, and I worked out. I joined the tennis team, and traveled for tennis, and I took classes, and I was doing everything over here to better myself, focusing on myself. The people I was going down the bad road with or being stupid with, they were like, "Hey, where you at? Where you at? Where you at?" And that will happen when you make that change. Get ready for it, and how you react and respond to that. You better respond. You better have your answers. You better be sure of what you're doing. And I don't mean 100%. Hey, you just say, "Hey, I want to go over there. I don't know how I'm going to get there, but I'm going to get there." And it's like flying a plane. I may want to go fly from here to Chicago in my own plane. And since I'm a VFR pilot, visual flight rules, and there's a cloud in my way, you know what? I got to go around the cloud. I can't fly into clouds. Now, it doesn't matter if I'm technically capable of flying into clouds. Legally, I'm not allowed to fly into clouds. So, very important stuff. So let's talk about the obstacles. So when I had that epiphany, I did start shedding bad people, and as I made my way in the corporate world, I knew what I wanted to do, and I made it clear, and I was communicated to it, and no one faulted me for it. They all knew what I was trying to do. And some people were against me, and I didn't care about them, and some were for me. And you know what? Not to be cruel, but on the level, I wasn't their affirmation I was looking for, and it wasn't the negative things that were stopping me. I was doing it for me, and that was important. So I had an ownership mentality while in corporate America. And then when I left there to start my own company, boy, we caught a lot of shit. A lot of people said, "Why are you doing that? What's going on?" And so be prepared. When you start making action, you're going to have friction, you're going to have obstacles, you're going to have resistance. Just get ready for it. So I talked about Afghanistan major powers. Read the blog post. I'm telling you, and I don't even think I go into it that much. Maybe I'll do another blog post just on major powers. Oh, by the way, his name is not Major Powers. So anyway, so let's go back. Let's go back into the business world now here at Exhibit Associates and the obstacles we face. One is I had no industry experience. Two, it was a capital intensive business. The startups before were bootstrapped for consulting, very low capital required, very low cost of entry, and the other startup was fully funded. So I was playing with other people's money. So it was interesting dynamics. And then with Exhibit Associates, it was our money and capital intensive, and I was focused on internal processes, improving the inside, and then I took my eye off the ball on sales. Because guess what? What I always say, you got to sell something, and you got to sell for more than it costs you. And we weren't doing that. So we ran into some hiccups in 2014. We had some personal issues in 2017. We got through all those. 2019 was looking good. And then this whole thing called the pandemic shut down the trade show and event industry. And we feel like we've come out on the other side even stronger than before. And because we responded to it. I mean, it wasn't easy. It's not easy. This is not easy because rules of ownership are hard. In other words, they don't bend. It's like gravity. It's trying to defy gravity. You're not going to do it. So the rules of ownership are very, very hard. You need to sell something for more than it costs you to produce it. You need a product, you need a service, you need a market, you need a customer, and you need to make a profit. And that's the pace of ownership. So you're going to deal with obstacles. Get ready because they're coming. All right, Don Jalbert here, Pace of Ownership Podcast. Get ready to respond to your first obstacle when you have that mindset. And if you got an obstacle that was a real doozy, email me at don@paceofownership.com, don@paceofownership.com. Thank you for being here. Thank you for playing along, and I'll talk to you soon.